pagdating dun sa pag-amin niya na may kinausap na siya na tao na patayin ng presidente at pumayag na ito, bakit ito pinapaniwala ng NBI? Pero bakit yung mga iba naman niyang sinabi dun sa parehong panahon tulad ng merong supposed corruption, bakit yun na hindi pinapaniwalaan? Simple ho kasi ano, kasi yung unang statement, yan ho yung tinatawag na admission against interest. No? Para paliwanag ko lang ho, ang rason ng batas kung bakit kinokonsidera ho yan as proof of truth of that statement dahil alam ng batas na hindi mo sasabihin ang bagay na makakasama sa'yo kung hindi yun totoo. Di ba? It's against your interest. Bakit? Dahil itong bagay na inamin mo, it could put you at risk of incurring criminal liability, like in this case. No? So, yun ang rason doon. Hindi mo siya sasabihin kung hindi siya totoo dahil ikakasama mo siya. No? Kaya yung pag-amin na meron na siyang kinontratang tao na patay ng presidente, it's an admission against interest, kinoconsider yan as pruweba, no, ng katotohanan ng statement na yun. Bakit yung ibang allegations tungkol doon na sinabi niya tungkol doon sa same press conference na yan? Bakit hindi siya considered as proof? Kasi hindi siya admission against interest. These are just allegations that should be proven by the person who made it. So yan ho yung mahalagang distinction ng dalawa kung bakit yung pag-amin na meron siyang pinatay, it's considered as proof of that statement.
All right, Rosalie.
Good evening, sirs. May we get your statement po? Si Vice President Duterte is out of the country until July 31 amidst her impeachment trial.
Happy trip po.
How about Terry and Terry?
Nothing to add. Yeah.
Safe travels and happy trip. And hope she'll be back soon.
Sir, may nakarating po ba sa inyong rumors ng possible resignation of the Vice President?
Wala. Sa bahagi ko po, wala pa ako narinig na ganoon pong kwento.
But if ever this happens, how will this affect the impeachment trial?
Well, ang pagtingin ho namin, at ito naman ho yung pagtingin din po ng ibang mga legal na eksperto, dahil nagtutuloy na po ito, dapat magpatuloy pa rin po yung paglilitis kasi hindi lang naman ho yung pagtanggal ang pinag-uusapan dito. Ang pinag-uusapan din po dito yung habang buhay na hindi po pagiging taong gobyerno. Hindi na siya pwedeng ma-appoint, hindi na pwedeng ma-elect sa ating pong pamahalaan. So I think it might be the prosecution's position na dapat magtuloy pa rin po yung pong paglilitis.
Dadagdag ko lang po, tandaan po natin kung ipakukumpira po natin doon sa kaso ni Ombudsman Mercedes Gutierrez, no? Hindi ho siya na-impeach. Ito po ay na-impeach na siya. Ibig sabihin, ang next step pala talaga, as according to the Constitution, ito mga abogado kasama ko dito, ay para matapos itong impeachment trial na ito, dahil nasa jurisdiction na ng Senado, ay magkaroon ng open trial at mag-decide ang mga huwes kung ano yung magiging judgment nila. Even if she resigns, for example, it will not absolve, no? It will not even terminate the impeachment trial because the only way to terminate the impeachment trial is for the court to finally reach a decision. So, dadagdag ko lang po yun.
So if ever lang naman po, if ever lang po na mag-resign siya, you will still push for the continuation and the conclusion of the impeachment trial?
Siyempre sa dulo-dulo naman po yung Senate Impeachment Court po yung mapagpasya dyan po sa bagay na yan. Pero I think that will be the prosecution's position po dyan sa bagay po na yan. Dapat magtuloy pa rin.
Tama ho yan. Kailangan intindihin ho natin na ang mga karampatang mga kaparasuhan na nakalagay sa saligang batas ay hindi pwedeng takasan, no? Sa simpleng pag-resign, no? Lalo na dito sa bagay sa paglilitis na to, nakapagpresenta na ng malakas na ebidensya ang prosecution, at least based dito sa article on grave threats, no? At kahapon lang, no, na-grant ang request natin for subpoena, no, kung saan mapapakita yung kabuuang yaman ng Vice Presidente na napakalaking bagay para mapakita ho no yung yung malakas na basehan ng article naman ho on unexplained wealth. So but at the end of the day, tulad nga ho ng sinabi ni Kong Terry, this is a matter that will be determined and decided upon by the impeachment court at the appropriate time.
Tsaka bakit siya magre-resign? Papunta pa lang tayo sa exciting part, guys. Papasok na yung MLC records, saka yung BIA records, saka yung bank records. Tingin ko magandang pangalawang pangulo pa rin ho siya pagka hinarap na po yun sa paglilitis.
All right, thank you, Rosalie. Now, Lance, it's your turn.
Hello po, good evening. I'm Lance po from Newswatch Plus. Balikan ko lang po yung sinasabi kanina ni NBI Director Melvin Matibag. Ang sinasabi niya kasi, hindi na lang daw po bantay yung kanilang iniimbestigahan ngayon, kundi isa ng plano na patayin si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sakaling may pumatay nga sa pangalawang Pangulo. Given this development or this shift, if I may call it, gaano po ito ka-material? Gaano napabigat po ba nito lalo yung kaso ng prosecution?
Definitely, no? Kasi, again, ang pinag-uusapan dito, yung betrayal of public trust, no? Or pagtataksil sa tiwala ng bayan, no? Pati yung culpable violation of the Constitution. No? At pinaliwanag naman ito kanina ni NBA Director Matibag na kailangan nating i-consider ito dahil para makita natin yung gravity kung gaano kamali itong pag-amin na to, itong confession na to na meron ng kinausap na tao na pumatay sa presidente na pumayag na. No? Dahil at the end of the day, yan ang titignan natin. Itong ganitong aktuasyon, itong ganitong asal, itong ganitong act, no? Karapat dapat ba ito para sa mga pinaka matataas na lingkod bayan natin? No? So, yes, ang sagot namin dyan, yes, it's material. It becomes even more clear, no, that the article on grave threats is really backed up and supported by strong evidence.
Anything to add, sir?
Well, sa akin lang, the plan can also translate into capability of one person to carry out this crime. And I call it crime na because hindi na nga siya grave threat, may plano talaga. So the intent is really there from the very start. It's just a matter of carrying it out. So, yes, it will really add up to the strength of the prosecution's presentation under the Article 4. Na kung titingnan mo, hindi lang pala ito, sabi nga ni Kong Terry, yung mga words na ginagamit nila na hearsay or mga chismis, hindi lang acta ito, na-debunk yung ganong klaseng I mean, to a point that they even said that it's a hearsay without it even refuting the very testimony of Director Martida would only prove that they cannot do anything, no? The defense, no? Cannot do anything to actually bring down the testimony of Director Martida. So yes, to give you a short answer, yes, because plan can also speak out about capability of one person, because how can you even carry out this plan if you don't have that capacity? Number one, there's already that person that you have talked to and agreed with to carry out this plan, no? So yun man lang on that basis alone, para sa prosecution at para dun sa ating taong bayan, na prove na talagang kinakailangan i-continue pa rin ng NBI itong investigasyon na ito, kasi it will affect the national security apparatus nga. Under threat pa rin ang president as of this moment.
Last na lang po on my end, medyo susugan ko lang po yung tanong ni Dwight kanina. Yung sabi niyo po kasi before, si NBI Director Matibag yung inaasahang bubuo ng kwento after ni NBI Senior Agent John Mark Calilong and ni NBI former Crime Cyber Division Chief Jerry Miloto. Ang tanong ko po, maituturing po ba nating nabuo na yung kwento gayong hindi pa nahanap yung assassin?
Well, hindi naman kailangan mapangalanan yung assassin kasi syempre, I think kung nasa gitna ho sila ng investigasyon, mahirap to disclose it, not just in an impeachment court but also publicly, hindi ba? So that will be a bit of a difficult thing or difficult expectation for the NBI director to do. Pero sinasabi ho natin na kompleto na yung kwento kasi napatunayan na po yung previous threats, by the Vice President against the President. Pero ang inilalahad niya ngayon, yung pong hindi natatapos, kundi tuloy-tuloy pong pagbabanta ng ating pong pangalang Pangulo at dahil kasama na ho yung mga kapamilya niya, mga banta din ho nila mismo laban sa ating pong Pangulo at sa kanya pong pamilya.
Thank you po.
Sir, good evening. Ako muna. Sir, balikan ko lang po yung tanong ni Rosalie. Hingin ko lang po yung pananaw nyo. Po pala ng Bombo Radyo. Sir, hingin ko lang po yung pananaw ninyo, no? Ano po yung pananaw ng prosecution sa pag-aproba po ng Malacanang ng Travel Authority ni Vice President Sara Duterte habang nagpapatuloy po yung impeachment trial? 5 bansa po yung pupuntahan niya. Qatar, Germany, United Kingdom, Northern Ireland at Netherlands. Sa tingin po ba ng prosecution, sir, may epekto po ba ang personal na biyahe ni Vice President sa takbo ng schedule ng impeachment proceedings? Thank you.
Nasa discretion naman yan ng Malacanang kung approvehin nila at hindi, no? Sa palagay naman namin, kung ang presentasyon lang naman ng artikulo, hindi naman maka-apekto yon, no? Sa presentation. In fact, hindi nga siya pupunta dito. So it does not matter regardless whether she's in a faraway land or whether she's just within the neighborhood. The point is we've been asking for her to come here and then respond to these questions directly from herself, pero hindi pa rin niya ginagawa. So kung kano kami pong tatanungin nyo, may epekto ba ito sa aming paglalahat ng mga artikulo ng prosecution? Wala po. Kasi from simulat sa pool, hindi naman po talaga siya pupunta. So discretion na po yan ng Malacanang whether they approve the travel or not. So apparently they have approved the travel.
Well, ang totoo naman, as much as gusto nating makita yung pong pangalawang Pangulo dito, ang totoo po, mula po ngayon hanggang July 30, ang mas interesado po yung prosecution, mahuli po yung balyena ng ebidensya mula po sa MLC, bank accounts at BIR records. No? Kasi ito na ho talaga yung magtatali ng unexplained wealth. And katulad ng binabanggit ho natin, yung pong 6.7 billion total transactions, ano ba ito sa ordinaryong tao? Ito po ay almost 2 million in ayuda, almost 2 million in fuel subsidy sa mga namamasada, 1.5 million in health benefits, no, para sa atin pong mga may sakit at pasyente. Almost 800,000 in scholarships for college education. No? So, yan po yung scale nung pong pinag-uusapan natin na total transactions na pumasok sa mga bangko ng atin pong pangalang Pangulo at kanya pong asawa. Ibig sabihin, yung pong mag-asawa, meron po silang scale ng parang gobyerno. Yung pong pumapasok at lumalabas sa kanila pong bank accounts. Sino lang ba sila? Taong gobyerno, mga abogado, at mayroon pong mga naluluging mga negosyo. So yun po yung kailangan ipaliwanag sa bahagi po ng unexplained wealth. At yan po yung babantayan ho namin from today until July 30. Pagka nag-comply po yung lahat ng mga ahensya, doon po sa subpoena on financial documents.
Good afternoon, sir. Balikan ko lang yung sinabi ni Kong Zia kanina na ang mas concerned kayo ngayon that NBI step in sa investigation sa kill plot. Pero based sa sagot kanina ni Director Matibag, nang tanungin ni Senate President Win Gatchalian, it will take 3 to 6 months bago matapos yung investigasyon. If this is a concern of the security of the President, di ba parang napakatagal po ng 3 to 6 months bago matapos yung investigasyon?
Well, una po, just to contextualize my response to the question kanina, ang sinagot ko po kay Dwight is it would be more concerning for the public kung hindi nag-step in ang NBI, no? Parang it would appear na wala silang pakialam. Halimbawa, so I think I commend the FBI for stepping in investigating this case. Regarding the matter whether or not it would be too long or it would be too short, again, ito po ay ongoing and active investigation. And the fact that they have already testified, Director Matibag already testified that they are persons of interest would only give us a positive and the positive indication that yung kaso ay tuloy-tuloy. What matters is that yung kanilang investigasyon ay meticulous, ay base doon sa mga intel reports na tatanggap nila. So it does not necessarily mean, for me, if you'd ask me, that's just the that would be within the time frame na possibility na matapos. It could also be reduced because investigation can actually end up an earlier date. Ang binigay lang niya is just a conservative estimate, no? Kung ang pong tatanungin nyo, it's just a conservative estimate. It can even be reduced to few months.
Kumustahin lang namin, sir, si Kong Jervil Luistro. Is she under the weather? Is she under the weather?
No, I don't think so. I think she's in the best of health. Parang maayos naman ho yung presentation niya kanina nung pong direct at she has been able to discuss thoroughly po yung mga important aspects of Director Matibag's testimony, no? So naipasok naman ho yung paglalahad doon po sa continuing threats, yung pong mga video documentation of not just the Vice President actions, previous actions, but also yung pong mga video documentation po ng kanya pong mga kapatid, no? Dito sa bagay po na ito, na ipasok naman ho. So, I think naman po, mahusay po yung performance ni Congresswoman Luistro kanina.
Agatha, it's your turn.
Hello po. May we get your reaction to the line of questioning from the defense about Director Matibag possibly being briefed before he stood as witness here at the trial? Tsaka parang narinig po kasi sa loob na some people who were watching were already saying misleading. So ano po yung reaction you to that?
Well, first of all, to be accurate, wala hong statement na he was briefed. What he said is he had an opportunity to meet, no, with the public prosecutor. But there's nothing unusual or irregular about that. Napaka-normal ho yan, no? Sa lahat ng paglilitis, kahit sa normal na mga kaso, normal ho yan. Bago ka mag-upo ng testigo, normal. Nakausapin mo, interview mo yung witness para malaman mo ano bang masasabi niya dito sa paglilitis na to. Para malaman mo, meron bang mga dokumento na kailangan markahan bilang parte ng kanyang testimonya. So normal yan. Tulad nga ho din ang sinabi niya, kung siya naman ay tatawagin din bilang testigo ng kabilang panig, ganun din ang kanyang gagawin. He will also meet with them. He will be allow himself to be interviewed by them para malaman din nila kung meron ba silang masasalaysay na sa tingin nila magagamit nila sa kanilang depensa. So there's nothing unusual about that.
Dadagdag ko lang, paano mo i-brief yung isang testigo na alam niya kung ano yung purpose niya doon sa trial na yon, di ba? Ang sasabihin lang naman niya is yung ongoing investigation nila. So there's nothing to brief because he already knew what would be the purpose by which he is invited to appear before the court because his testimony would be indispensable in trying to prove that Article 4, under Article 4, hindi grave threat na sinabi ng Vice Presidente laban sa President. So I think it's just a matter of, yung kanyang testimony ay alam niya kung ano yung magiging sagot niya base lang doon sa kanyang nalalaman. Ang nalalaman niya is based doon sa ongoing investigation nila. May plano talaga to assassinate the president at this is a serious matter that even affects the national security concern. It does not directly threaten the life of one individual. It actually threatened the life of Commander-in-Chief because you cannot separate the President Bongbong Marcos. By the way, PBBM, hindi po BBM, PBBM, President Bongbong Marcos po. Para magbigay naman po tayo dun sa respeto because you cannot separate the person from the office he represents. No? So alam po ni Director Matibag yung kanyang magiging testimony. At there's nothing to brief, no?
At saka panghuli na lang at mas mahalaga, ang totoo, kung meron gumagawa ng chismis tsaka intriga dito, yung depensa ho yun. Kasi ang totoo naman, hindi naman ho kailangan ng subpoena para ho mag-upo ng witness doon. Hindi ho kailangan. Wala ho tayong pinag-usapan na subpoena as a requirement for a witness to be placed there.
the things that we heard from the NBI Director Matibag, no, was that the threat against the president is not just any. Okay. It actually rose to a level of national security because we're talking about the president and the commander-in-chief. No? Okay. So, kanina, dun sa pagsasalaysay ng ating testigo na si NBI Director Matibag, nilahad niya ano ang mga bagay na kinonsidera ng NBI kung bakit minarapat nila na mag-conduct pa ng mas masusing investigasyon paukol dun sa mga naging pagbanta no, na ginawa ng Vice Presidente. No? So nasabi niya, isa sa mga bagay na yon ay nabalikan nila yung video ni Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte kung saan sinabi niya dun sa isang pagpupulong ng Rage Coalition na iisang ulo ang gusto nila, no? Gusto nila ang ulo ng Presidente Marcos. At dahil dito, naiugnay niya to dun sa naunang video na nakita na natin sa pamamagitan ng testimonya ng dalawang witness natin, no? Na sinabi naman ng Vice Presidente sa isang interview na she was imagining cutting the head of the president, no? Cutting off the head of the president, sabi niya, ba? Na gusto kong putulin yung ulo niya. So, dahil dito, nakita nila na parang may pattern, no? Considering that this same words, no? This same threats came from the same family. No? At he also emphasized na maliwanag na hindi na lang threats yung ginawa ng Vice Presidente. No? Actually, ito ay isa ng confession. And ang isa sa mga pinakamaliwanag na punto na sinabi kanina no, ng NBI Director, kailangan nating linawin no, na ang tinutuntun na lang dito no, ay yung identity nung assassin na kinausap ng Vice Presidente. No, kung kanino siya nagkaroon ng agreement no, na patayin ang presidente. Pero wala nga ng question dun sa kung meron bang mamamatay tao na kinausap ang Vice Presidente. No, kailangan nating distinguish yung dalawa na yan. No? At tulad ng sinabi ng NBI Director, wala nang question dun sa fact na yon na meron ng kinausap ang Vice Presidente at ito ay pumayag sa kanyang kagustuhan na patayin ng Presidente. No? At tulad ng sinabi ng NBI Director, ano ang prueba natin? Yan mismo yung prueba natin, yung mga salitang nanggaling sa Vice Presidente. No? This is, again, an admission against interest. So, tulad ng naging paliwanag niya kanina, ang tinutuntun na lang ngayon ay yung identity, no? Pagkakakilanlan nitong tao na to. Can we get to the next slide? Okay, so binalikan din no dito sa kanilang investigasyon na ginawa, binalikan din no yung mga past actions ng Vice Presidente at nakita dito yung pattern of violence na naging aksyon niya magmula dun sa nakita kung paano sinaktan ng Vice Presidente yung sheriff na gumagawa lang ng kanyang trabaho, no? Tapos binalikan din yung mga naging na dito na pumasok yung kanyang nasabi na kasama sa kanilang investigasyon, nakita nila yung isang statement, no, written statement na ginawa ni Mr. Las Cañas na it appears it was submitted before the ICC. So, and doon na nga pumunta kanina na kinaklarify natin, maliwanag naman na ang konteksto nitong dokumento na to ay pinapaliwanag lamang ni NBI Director na isa to sa mga bagay na tinignan nila. No? Sinuri nila at naging basehan kung bakit nakita nila na kailangan dapat seryosohin itong pagbabanta. No? Actually, hindi lang pagbabanta, confession nitong assassination plot ng Vice Presidente. So, dahil nga dito no sa mga bagay na to, dahil naging maliwanag na hindi siya isang singular act lang, no? Consistent ang naging action ng Vice Presidente magmula nung unang sinabi, naggusto niyang putulin ang ulo ng presidente hanggang sa umamin na nga na meron na siyang nakausap na tao na pumayag sa kanyang kagustuhan na patayin ng presidente hanggang dun sa mga sumusunod na mga interviews kung saan hindi niya binawi ang kanyang sinabi, no? Dahil dito sineryoso ng NBI itong bagay na to at nag-create sila ng special task force, no, para mag-focus dito sa pag-iimbestiga sa bagay na to. At tulad ng sinabi niya kanina, meron ng mga leads, no, na importante sa pagtukoy sa kakilanlan nitong tao na to. At but because it's a matter of national security, he cannot at this time disclose it, no, to the public. So I think with that, we're ready to take questions from you.
All right, para sagutin ang inyong mga katanungan, let us also welcome a member of the public prosecutor. Bibigyan na natin ng pagkakataon na makapag-settle down sila sa kanilang upuan. Alam ko marami kayong mga katanungan, marami akong nakitang nagtataas ng kamay. Kaya marami tayong mga miyembro ng panel na ngayon na nakahandang sumagot sa inyong mga katanungan. So, bigyan lang natin sila ng konting pagkakataon na makasettle down. Okay? Tulad po ng nasabi ko, let us also welcome Public Prosecutor, Representative Terry Ridon of Bicol Saro Party List, and spokesperson, Representative Zia Alonto Adyong of the First District of Lanao del Sur. So we are now ready. They are now ready to answer your question, unless we give the floor first to Congressman Ridon.
Make a statement first before the questions. Marami mga sinabi kanina, hindi ba? At una sa lahat, ang hindi natin na maintindihan po rito, yung po nga pinagsasabi ng depensa na chismis lang po ang ilan sa mga bagay na inilahad ni Director Matibag. Ang tanong ko sa depensa ngayon ay paano naman naging chismis yung pong pagbabanta? Paano ho naging chismis yung pong continuing threat of the Vice President and her family against the President and his family? Hindi ba? Paano naging chismis yung pong meron pong open, active investigation ang NBI itself, led by the Director himself, para tukuyin po yung persons of interest. So hindi ho chismis yun. Aktual na investigasyon po ito, mga kaibigan. So hindi ho natibag si Director Matibag ngayon pong araw na ito. I'm quite certain bukas hindi po siya matitibag. At I think we also take exception to the manner by which a question was posed relating to testing the credibility of Director Matibag doon po sa pagtatanong patungkol sa kanyang asawa, si Congresswoman Ann Matibag. Nakakatawa kasi ang totoo, hindi ho kailangan magpaalam ni Congresswoman Matibag sa mga kanyang desisyon bilang kinatawan, elected na kinatawan ng isang distrito ng Laguna. Kasi meron namang sariling pag-iisip si Congresswoman Matibag in the same manner na meron ng pag-iisip, desisyon si Director Matibag sa kanila pong mga karera sa buhay. So we find that there is no relevancy in testing the credibility relating to that particular point. No? So I think that needs to be stated, and we're opening ourselves to questions already.
All right. Dwight? There's the mic.
Magandang gabi po. Unang question ko po, does it concern the prosecution that in the court of public opinion, they will still care na malaman nila kung sino yung hitman o maipresenta yung hitman, or that hindi enough yung confession lang or admission against interest ni Vice President Sara Duterte?
Well, unang-una, kailangan dito naalalahanin natin dun sa grave threats ni hindi mo kailangan, no, ipakita na meron talagang assassin. Hindi mo kailangan para may managot sa grave threats ay kailangan meron muna tayong makitang bangkay. Meron tayong nakitang talagang nangyari itong bagay na to. Sapat na may ginawang pambabanta na gumawa ng bagay na labag sa batas. No? At ito ay seneryoso, no? Dahil nakita, no, based sa actions nitong gumawa ng pagbabanta before, during and after, no, na sinabi itong mga bagay na to ay seryoso siya, no? At na-produce niya yung effect na gusto niyang gawin, no? Which is, as we've stated, dito nagkaroon ng official statement from the president saying na nakakabahala itong ganitong mga sinabing pagbabanta. So, first and foremost, we don't even need to establish, no, that there is actually an assassin. But even if there's no need for it, as we've stated, it's clear already, oh, that there is an assassin. Oh. Yes, impeachment is both legal and a political process, but considering it's a legal process, kailangan i-consider yan, no? Yung rules on evidence dito, which we've been pointing out to a couple of times already, that itong admission against interest is one of the highest forms of evidence dahil itong pag-amin na to nanggaling na to mismo dun sa respondent, no? So para sa amin, no, dahil lang sa mga bagay na yan, napakaliwanag na malakas yung basehan based sa evidence na nailatag na sumusuporta dito sa article on grave threats.
Yeah, but I'd like to add something, no. Are we concerned because the NBI has not named names? Only that Director Matibag informed the court that there are already persons of interest that they would like to the follow lead to in terms of the investigation, no? No, we are not concerned. What we are more concerned if the NBI had not stepped in and investigate the case, no? Mas concerned kami doon kung walang ginawa ang NBI despite the fact na very clear yung pagbabanta ng Vice Presidente. Why am I saying this? Having raised and grew up in a community where we are all exposed to conflicts, no? We cannot let the government sit down and wait until words become bullets, no? Klaro po 'yon. Ito'y pagbabanta at hindi dapat to sineset aside or hindi dapat ito pinabawalang bahala na lang. So I think it's more concerning for the Filipino people if FBI did not do anything, no? At least now, we have learned from the NBI director that there are still an ongoing case build-up, open investigation, and there are persons of interest proving that the grave threat is not just uttered in words, but there was already that plan. I think that was the testimony of Director Matibag. 2 weeks ago, we've heard about Attorney Calilong, na-establish na yung authenticity ng digital evidence. Attorney Lotok also informed and then testified yung kanilang ginawang investigation, and ito na napakita sa atin ni Director Matibag na merong plano, na hindi lang ito iisang tao ang nagplano or banta na isa lang gumawa or just mere rhetoric born out from the impulsive or yung utterances dahil galit siya, but there was already that indication that this is a plan and the plan is to be carried out, no? That's why the investigation has to proceed. So yun po yung yun dapat po yung posisyon ng ating taong bayan, na mas nakakabahala kung hindi gumalaw at nag-imbestiga ang NBI.
To Congressman Terry naman po, is the NBI or the government's investigation in any way undermined by the fact that it has taken us nearly 2 years or 2 years have passed since Vice President Duterte issued that kill threat during the virtual press conference, at hanggang ngayon po ay wala pa ring identity doon sa hitman?
Well, hindi naman kasi when did Mayor Baste Duterte actually utter the relevant threat against the president? Ilang buwan lang ho yung nagdaan doon eh. So basically nga ho, katulad na binabanggit kanina, dalang bagay ho yung halaga nito pong testimonya po ni Director Matibag. Nabuuin yung kwento doon po sa investigasyon nila. So made na ho yung previous threats eh. Napatunayan na ho yun doon sa mga witnesses po, Mr. Kalilong and Mr. Lotok. Ang bit-bit po ni Attorney Matibag ngayong pong araw na ito, ano pa yung tuloy-tuloy na pagbabanta sa buhay ng atin pong Pangulo. So, nabanggit na niya, there's an active open investigation. I think they had identified persons of interest already. No, pero kahit nga sa totoo lang, kahit hindi niya banggitin ito pong continuing threats na ito, dahil nailahad na po, which is basically yung pong previous threat ng pangalang Pangulo against the President, basically tapos na yung pong paglalahad dito po sa article on threats.
Dwight, dadagdag ko lang yung mabilis dun sa una mong tanong. Alalahanin natin nung tinanong ang si NBI Director Matibag kanina, kung sa tingin niya meron ba talagang assassin, napakalinaw ng sagot niya. Sabi niya 100% naniniwala siya na meron. Dahil na nga galing sa mismong pag-amin ng Vice Presidente. At importante din siguro na
Testimony to be given. Kailangan lang ho na sabihin na kung halimbawa, hindi tayo tiyak kung gustong maging witness na isang particular na tao. And I think we've been having a conversation about Director Matibag testifying for like 2 to 3 weeks already. Hindi ba? So, kaya nga, ang totoo, kailangan natin wasakin the idea na kailangan na subpoena. Kasi ganun yung line of questioning eh. Meron bang subpoena o wala? Ang sagot ko ron, hindi naman kailangan subpoena eh. Para magsalang po ng testigo sa paglilitis po na ito.
Let me reiterate, please lang. PBBM, if you want to do acronym sa kanyang pangalan, because I think he deserves it. You cannot separate the person from the office. I think it's proper for all of us to address the one that occupies the highest official office in the land. So he deserves to be called president. It's not even respect, it's factual. Be factual about if you are trying to reference to the president. Be factual about it.
Since you asked about the line of questioning of the defense on cross-examination, siguro it's a good thing also to address, para hindi maligaw at malito yung mga kababayan natin. Kanina, may nagpakita sila ng supposed survey, showing yung, was it the approval rating or trust rating? And ang tanong is, does it, they're trying to correlate it with the issue of betrayal of public trust. Kung mataas ang rating, pwede bang magkaroon ng betrayal of public trust? Actually, kung mas madaming nagtiwala, hindi ba mas madaming tiwala ang pinagtaksilan? Ang pinag-uusapan ho dito na betrayal of public trust, ang pinanggagalingan yan sa Constitution, nakalagay ho dyan, public office is a public trust. Public officials should always be accountable to the people whom they serve. Kaya dapat dito, at nakalagay ho yan sa oath na tinake ho ng Vice Presidente nung siya ay nahalal na Vice Presidente, na kailangan niyang siguraduhin that she will execute the laws of the land. Ipatupad ang batas ng ating bansa. Pero tulad ng sinabi ng NBI Director Matibag kanina, mukhang hindi execute the laws of the land ang ginawa, execute the president ang gusto. So, regardless kung gaano ho kataas ang approval rating, itong ganitong aksyon, napakaliwanag na isa ho itong pagtataksil dun sa tiwala ng bayan na binigay sa pangalawang pinakamalakas na lingkod, pinakamataas na lingkod bayan, nung hinalal siya at linuklok sa pwesto. Dahil kabaligtaran ho kung ano ang kanyang dapat na gawin bilang presidente, ang napapalabas base sa ebidensya na kita natin na nangyari.
May isa po. Thank you. Habang naka-break po sila, nag-uusap po si Presiding Officer Escudero, Attorney Sheila Sison, and Kong Jervil Luistro. May I ask, ano po yung diniscuss nila? Was this about witnesses tomorrow or were there other topics? Thank you.
All right. Now, Let's hear from Eden.
Good evening po, Eden Santos from Net25. Gusto ko lang pong malaman sa ating mga panelists kung kayo ba ay nagagalit or nagalit na ng walang dahilan. It's a question.
Hindi.
So hindi po kayo wala pang pagkakataon na kayo nagalit na ng walang dahilan. Even case po, ano yung pwedeng mag-trigger para magalit kayo ng todo at magmura at magbanta na papatayin yung taong nag-trigger sa inyo ng galit?
Hindi ko yung pagkatao, so hindi ako nagagalit.
Kong Adjong,
Ano yung tanong?
kayo po ba ay nagagalit ng walang dahilan?
Ay, siraulo lang po yung nagagalit na walang dahilan.
Ano po yung pwedeng mag-trigger para magalit kayo ng todo to the point na magmura kayo at magbanta ng papatayin yung taong nag-trigger ng inyong galit?
Depende po yan. Minsan pag di ako nakakain, wala akong kain. Kasi pag Ramadan, talagang medyo mainit ang ulo. Pero hindi ako nagbabanta pag galit ako.
So wala pa pong ganung pagkakataon na
Ay, hindi, pero
nararanasan
ako
kayo?
nagbanta. Lalo-lalo na hindi ko binanta yung superior ko. Wala akong nagbabanta. Pag galit, pero hindi ko yung nagbabanta. Ako, hindi na ako nagbanta.
Si attorney. Attorney, kayo po.
Hindi pa rin naman. So, pasensya na, hindi ko din masagot yung tanong mo. Hindi ko pa rin na experience yan na may pagbanta na patay.
So wala pa po kayong naranasan ganun sa buhay ninyo? Thank you po.
All right.
Eden.
Para wala namang nagbabanta. Pero si Haji, may nagbabantang magtanong si Haji eh.
Hindi naman po nagbabanta. Haji po, Brigada News FM. Kanina po parang dun sa intervention interjection ni Senator Judge Pia Cayetano, meron po siyang binanggit tungkol dun sa document relating to Arturo Las Cañas. Aware po ba kayo na na wala po ba talagang notarization or hindi po kumbaga napanotaryo yung dokumento po na yun kasi kinu-question po yun bakit daw pinresent sa impeachment trial gayong yun nga po bukod sa hindi po wet signature daw yung ginamit, hindi po daw po napanotaryo.
I'm not so sure about the particulars. To be honest with you, it's the first time that I saw even portions of it a while ago when it was flashed. So, but from my understanding is it was not required to be notarized, when he submitted it. So, but ang importante dito, hindi naman ibig sabihin ng dahil lang hindi notaryadong isang dokumento, para na lang basura na ito or wala na siyang kahit na anong importansya. So, yun ho siguro yung sagot no? And maliwanag naman nung prinesenta yan kanina with qualification naman din yung pagpayag ng presiding officer nung ito ay pina-identify sa witness na flash yung ibang portions maliwanag naman sinabi naman yan. It was not intended to prove the contents, but just to prove the fact. It was one of the documents that was considered by the NBI, when it determined that the threat is serious and that they needed to take further action with respect to it. At doon na nakita kasi yung pattern of violence, capacity to carry out the threat, Yun lang naman ang konteksto doon, nung prinesenta yan to show ito yung mga bagay na nakita, pinag-aralan at kinonsidera ng NBI.
Well, tama yung binanggit ni Attorney Jay, Again, pinipresenta ho yun as a fact Hindi ba? Kumbaga, ano magagawa ni Director Matibag yun yung lumapag sa lamesa niya na dokumento. For example, Intel reports. Yung mga Intel reports na lumalapag sa NBI, law enforcement, notaryado ba yung mga yun? Tingin ko hindi. Hindi ba? So, hindi ho requirement to basically show yung fact that this particular paper exists, this particular document exists. Yun lang naman yung sinasabi ni Director Matibag. Lumapag itong dokumento sa kanya. Is there a requirement for this particular document to actually be notarized? I don't think so. No? And pandagdag na lang din naman ho yung binabanggit ni Chairperson Jervil Luistro na this particular document, even if unnotarized, was actually submitted to the ICC. Hindi ba? It was never meant to say na dapat magkaiba yung standards ng Senate Impeachment Court at yung ICC. Kundi, the fact of the matter remains that this particular Las Cañas document was submitted to the ICC and it was accepted. Hindi ba? So, ibig sabihin, ang mahalaga naman ho na merong notarized affidavit, it is not the Las Cañas document. It is if there is a Matibag affidavit, then that should be the one that should be notarized kasi that will be the one which will be submitted to the Senate Impeachment Court if it actually exists.
I think connect ko lang. I think that is related to the ongoing investigation that the NBI is conducting, 'di ba? Parang there are a lot of materials, documents that the NBI actually pull in as a means of considering that they are also accepting intel reports. Yun yung mga sabi nila, 'di ba? So intel reports are not necessarily notarized, diba? So these are matters by which the NBI also look into para again to establish the premise by which the NBI is on the right track of proceeding to a full investigation. Ganun lang naman eh. Tsaka bago na-presenta yon or na-presenta while it was presented and then questioned by the defense, ang presiding officer naman nag-remind naman din sa mga senator judges na this should not be taken, the truthfulness of the document should not be taken into consideration. Ang sinasabi lang is ito nga yung mga isa sa mga tinitingnan ng NBI sa kanilang investigation at hindi nangangahulugan na yun na yung katotohanan. Ibig sabihin, sinasabi ni Director Matibag na isa to sa mga sources na ginagawa namin, na ma-reference namin na parte, na kinukonsider namin parte doon sa mga pool of intel reports na it's either testimony directly from the person, intel report, or documented by a person relating kung ano yung pagkakaalam niya doon sa person na yun under investigation.
Okay, follow-up na lang po, last follow-up. So, although it was already explained by Lead Prosecutor Jervil Luistro, hindi niyo naman po nakikita na napahina nung pagiging hindi siya notarized. Kasi may binabanggit po dun si Las Cañas na yung sa Oplan Tokhang, yung mga orders ng pagkidnap, etc., yung mga ganyan, yung pattern of violence. So tingin niyo naman po yung magiging judgment or yung magiging appreciation ng senator judges dun sa usapin na yun, hindi naman po madidiminish. Dahil nga po hindi siya notarized, of course, kasi di ba medyo nagalit nga po si Senator Pia kanina.
Walang na-prove lang naman doon sa dokumento na yun is yung premise at yung rason at saka yung basis ng NBI kung bakit meron ongoing investigation. Yun lang naman yung pinipresenta din ng House Prosecution Panel. It does not mean anything. It does not mean that, yung nga sabi nga ng presiding officer, whatever is in that document should not be treated as the biblical truth. It cannot even be considered as something for the sitting judges to look into and to include that as part of their if they at the event that they will reach a point where they need to make up their minds, ay wag i-consider yan. Ang sinasabi lang doon, yun lang na-prove lang doon, may basihan ang NBI para mag-proceed sila sa kanilang ongoing and open investigation.
Sir, from DCRJ.
Yeah, just quick lang. And the fact remains is, pinaka-importante pa rin dito, pinaka-central issue dito is napatunayan na meron talagang ginawang pagbabanta. No? At napatunayan na meron din talagang ginawang kasunduan sa isang taong vice-presidente na patayin ng presidente. At the end of the day, kahit dyan lang tayo mag-focus. No? Napaka-importante, makikita na natin, masasagot na yung katanungan na meron bang ginawang paglabag ng konstitusyon? Meron bang ginawang pagtataksil sa tiwala ng bayan?
Panguli na lang, I think if that is it appears to be a challenge, di ba? Kasi nga unnotarized and it's submitted to the ICC. So siguro pwede pag-isipan ng prosecution, hindi ba? Is that what they want to actually happen? For the prosecution to actually invite Arturo Las Cañas to the Senate impeachment trial? Kasi we have to go back to the point na it was basically that particular testimony which sent the former president to The Hague. Hindi ba? So, if it's something that the defense would want to undertake, or kami, we will talk about it, we will see if that is material and relevant or timely pa ba. Lalo't higit, magsasara na po kami. Pero kung ang debate lang po ay whether notarized o hindi, again, we have to go back. That particular testimony is what sent the former president to The Hague.
All right, Joe.
Yung paglilinaw lang po, importante pa po ba sa prosecution kung ma-identify o makita yung assassins o hindi na?
Again, hindi na ho yun mahalaga, no? Dahil nga kahit dun sa crime of grave threat, hindi naman ho kailangan, no, ma-identify pa kung sino yan. At lalo naman ho dito, nang usapin ho dito ay betrayal of public trust, no, and culpable violation of the Constitution. And pasensya na ho kayo kung paulit-ulit, ang mas importante ho dito, emphasize natin, may question lang sa pagkakakilanlan nung tao na kinausap ng Vice Presidente para patayin ng Presidente. Pero wala nang question kung meron ba siyang kinausap, meron bang ganung tao, no, na nagkaroon ng agreement, no, na patayin ang Presidente. Dahil ang sagot dyan, napakalinaw, meron.
Klaro po na impeachment trial, hindi po parehas sa usual na criminal proceeding na kinakailangan mo talagang yung sinasabi nilang beyond reasonable doubt na kailangan mo i-produce lahat ng material, ebidensya, witness, etc. No? Kasi ongoing investigation pa rin daw ito. No? Ang sa amin lang, ang babalikan natin yung fitness niya. Ibig sabihin yung fitness niya to remain in public office. Babalikan ko, kanina na-mention nga ni Attorney Jay itong survey na to. Itong survey, minsan kasi nagmamatter din yung timeline kung kailan to kinundak. No? Minsan, di natin alam kung kailan nila itong kinundak. Maybe prior to the trial. What my point is, hindi yan continuous na maging basis mo or take the survey as a biblical truth level. Kasi hindi yan sustainable yung pag-akyat, minsan bumababa. And it does not absolve for example, yung accountability niya under the Constitution. Again, ito'y pinag-uusapan dito yung fitness niya to remain in office. Whether itong pagbabantaban niya ay inaalaw ng Constitution. Yung pagbabanta niya sa Presidente, dinescribe niya yung usapan nila nung hitman para patayin ni Presidente. Ito ba'y inaalaw sa Constitution? Actually, it's not only her betrayal, but it's actually her betrayal to the mandate given to her by the people, no? So, yun lang po yung babalikan natin, no? Kaya ito ba ay isang bagay na inaalaw ng ating konstitusyon at tinatanggap na konstitusyon na hindi. Hindi yan actually, kumbaga parang accepted yan na within the frame, pasok pa rin yan na hindi siya violative doon sa constitutional standard na sinet ng ating saligang batas sa mga taong naluluklok sa mga matataas na posisyon. Sa palagay namin, very clear po yan. Hindi po yan ina-accept at di po yan yung ini-expect ng ating saligang batas na pag-uugali ng isang pangalawang Pangulo.
Paano po ngayon nabanggit si Mayor Baste na sinabi niya ulo lang ng Pangulo. Si BP Sara naharap dahil do sa threat, no? So possibly di makasuhan din si Mayor Baste dahil meron din siyang possible na threat sa Pangulo at hindi lang po yun yung mga dumalo doon sa event ng range na sinabi ni NBI Chief kanina, mayroong mga senador at may iba pang mga individual na kilala nandun.
Kailangan mo itanong kay Director Matibag yun. Kung, kasi sila naman yung nagsabi that they are taking these utterances seriously. No? So, tingnan natin kung meron silang pagpapalalim pa doon po sa naganap pong event po na yun. Okay? Next question, please.
Vel Custodio po from PTV. In an ambush interview po last April 30, nung dumalo din si Director Matibag sa clarificatory hearings ng House, sinabi po niya na isa po doon sa mga inimbestigahan nila na persons of interest ay member ng AFP. Do you have information right now kung ito pa rin po ba yung tinututukan ng NBI, and are this or yung member ba ng AFP na yon ay active or retired?
At the moment, hindi pa ho namin alam. So, antayin ho natin, baka bukas mailabas yon or after the trial proceedings po. Kasi tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman po yung pag-imbestiga po nila.
Sir? Gab from Inquirer, sir. Sir, tanong ko lang kasi I know that your stand is that parang yung questionable yung line of questioning ng defense kay Attorney Matibag. Pero hindi ba yung mga ni-raise niyang points, like for example yung tungkol sa boto ng kanyang asawa, tungkol sa yung mga column niya sa Daily Tribune, at yung mga iba pa niyang mga previous pronouncements ay legitimate concerns in terms of fairness and yung kawalan ng mga biases?
Well, yung kailangan natin maglinaw, nasagot ko naman na kanina yun doon sa boto ng asawa niya.
Okay.
So tingin ko dapat may hiwalay naman pong buhay at paninindigan niya asawa niya, no? Doon sa politika nilang dalawa. So I think hindi na kailangan sagutin yun, already answered. Pero yun doon sa column, I think we have to be very clear that I think yung pong mga articles na binabanggit were written nung pong panahon na hindi pa ho siya NBI director, no? So siyempre, ang totoo, we will let the defense raise these particular concerns. But of course, I will agree with you na ito po talaga yung pwedeng mga maitanong doon po kay Director Matibag. Ang mahalaga naman po, nag-clarify siya na hindi ito nakakaapekto doon sa kanya pong trabaho bilang head po ng NBI. And I don't think he has made very political statements when he assumed office po as NBI director.
Dadagdagan ko, when he was writing for the Daily Tribune, he was there as an opinion writer. And precisely the reason why he was hired is to share his opinion, and that is his opinion, and that is within the bounds of the law. He's allowed to do that because that's precisely why he was there, to give his opinion. But remember, when he assumed the NBI, there was already that initial preliminary investigation. So hindi siya yung nag-trigger dito na para imbestigahan ang Vice President. In fact, sa mga tanong nga kanina ng defense, what they have proven is there was already that preliminary investigation conducted prior to his assumption. So kung ano po yung mga opinion niya doon sa broadsheet na yon, ay hindi yun ang paksa ng investigasyon na kinokonduct ng NBI. Ang paksa ng investigasyon ay yung pagplano at pagtatangkang pagpatay sa nakaupong presidente.
Sir, yung naging sagot ni Attorney Matibag dun sa tanong ni Attorney Binluan kung bakit niya sinulat yung mga storya na yun, ang parang sinabi pa nga niya na hindi naman siya yung nag-coin nung term na Bratinela kung hindi sinabi ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. Dahil magkasama sila noon at narinig niya raw na sinabi ni former President. Do you think yung pagiging close at dating kaalyado, dating PDP laban, dating Cabinet Secretary ni Attorney Matibag would boost his credibility na he is not something who would do this investigation out of nothing, out of thin air?
Well, ultimately, it will depend on the lens that you're taking, no? So, syempre, people might say na that is a clear indication of bias, but some other persons would say na no, that would be a reason to show na there is no bias, kundi the person is just doing his job. So, we will leave it to the public and to the Senate judges to make that determination. Kasi nangyari naman ho talaga yun. The articles were written and the investigation is being pursued by the NBI director now. No? So we will leave it to those who will have to decide on whether or not he has high credibility or not.
All right. On that note, we again thank our panelists, Representative Sia Lonto Jong, Representative Terry Ridon, and Attorney J. Toloso Jr. At sa inyong lahat, Maraming salamat din po. Patuloy nating subaybayan ang mga kaganapang mangyayari bukas sa pagpapatuloy ng impeachment trial. Magandang gabi at maraming salamat.